Hi, and welcome to Good Deeds Real Estate with a Mission. I'm Diane Davidson here with Bill Weidecker, pretty in pink. I feel like I should lend you these glasses to match your own song.
Switch, yeah.
Anyway, we have some very good news for Southern New Hampshire today, yes? Realtor.com has come out with the hottest zip codes in the country for the first half of 2022.
Caliente.
See, and good thing I took French in high school. And little old New Hampshire, out of the top 10, made 3. Number 2, number 4, number 8, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty exciting. So I just want to sort of go over the parameters that they use, and then want to ask you some questions about it. So the hottest zip codes list was compiled by looking at housing market demand using Realtor.com. Listing data from January to June 2022. The economic research team looked at the number of views listings in each zip code were receiving on the site and how quickly the homes were selling. To ensure geographic diversity, the list of top zip codes is limited to 1 zip code per metropolitan area. A metro area includes the main city and surrounding towns, suburbs, and smaller urban areas. So to end the suspense, Nashua, New Hampshire, including the Manchester area, was number 2. Derry, New Hampshire, including the Manchester area, number 4. And coming in at number 8, Hooksett, New Hampshire, which includes the whole Concord and Capital region. So, explain. Take it away.
Well, if you think about like this idea of hottest zip codes, when we got into the throes of the pandemic, most people were looking to move out of large urban areas as quickly as they possibly can. And if you remember, there was even a concern about what was going to happen with rental units in New York City. And this idea that we're going to see so much vacancy there, that has completely reversed itself, and everybody's back living in the large metropolitan areas. Really, what it comes down to is what's added to the increased popularity in these 3 zip codes that are mentioned in the hottest zip codes in the country, is the idea that affordability plays a role. Right? We know that cities like New York and Boston, large metropolitan areas, are more expensive than smaller metropolitan areas. Look at New Hampshire, and look at the areas that fall into these zip codes. You've got essentially southern New Hampshire, and in southern New Hampshire, you've got the largest city, Manchester, the second largest city, Nashua. Its proximity to the border and its proximity not only to the border, meaning getting to Boston, but also getting to New York within 4 hours, getting to the seacoast within an hour. All of these things add to this popularity of the reason why the top 3 zip codes in New Hampshire are 3 of the top 10 hottest zip codes in the country. I think it's great news for us. And it also, while we think of all of the less than great news about the real estate market sort of shifting and changing, it doesn't feel that way for us.
No, it doesn't.
In New Hampshire. And so I would say, and we've said this before, pay attention to what the local professionals tell you as opposed to what the national headlines say.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, it's information, but there's no real perspective. And that's what we provide.
So we're seeing all of these zip codes are in the Northeast, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're seeing nothing on the West Coast. And
right.
When we look at who is buying properties in our area, in New Hampshire, the buyers, the number 1, the highest percentage is coming from New Hampshire.
Right.
Number 2 is Massachusetts.
Correct.
And anecdotally, I think what we're seeing, especially in certain price brackets, we're seeing people come from California, Nevada, Arizona. There are a lot of people coming from the western states. And definitely affordability, because in most cases, they're getting a lot more property for their money than what they're leaving, right? So It's very attractive.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's good news for the state as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity for property owners that may want to right size and sell, and so they can do that with relative ease. We need only look back, Diane, back to the financial crisis of the late teens, the late 2010s, and the fact that there were a lot of people that said, "I'd like to move, but my equity's locked in. I can't sell the house for what I owe it for, and I can't, so I got to stay." Right?
Mm-hmm.
Think of it now. People are sitting on lots of equity. They have lots of flexibility. and they can make their move. So if you're thinking, is now the time? I think so. Because it's hard to know. While we say that things are good here in New Hampshire compared to other parts of the country, it's hard to know what things are going to look like a year from now. So when is a good time to move? When you are contemplating it, start the conversation. Not when you say unequivocally, I gotta move, because you might miss the mark.
And not be prepared, right? We talked about that in one of our
Yeah.
other podcasts. All of a sudden you're ready, you're not prepared. So at least get prepared. So it's never a have to, it's a want to.
Indeed.
I just spent hours and hours with a friend who's contemplating, and they're doing the smart thing. They're getting everything ready, and she said to me, "Fall in love with it. I'm not going to want to leave." I said, "That's great. I hope you fall in love. I hope you get to stay and enjoy everything you're doing, and then but when you're ready, you'll be prepared." And so I think it's very encouraging for buyers too, because it's sort of when I got in line at JFK a few weeks ago, and the line was so long. It was comforting as it got longer behind me. It was very comforting to me. So I think when buyers buy now, it should be comforting to know that if you're in a market that is this hot, there's probably some appreciation and continued, because people do read the press clippings, right? But this is real, and it's very localized, and there'll be people behind them, and properties will continue to grow in value.
Well, when we always hear this saying, misery loves company, and so does enthusiasm, by the way.
Yeah.
Enthusiasm loves company. In other words, because these headlines say the
Right.
3 of the top 10 hottest zip codes in the country are here in New Hampshire, it actually adds credibility to people considering moving here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's got to be good.
And I love that it's not just one city. Sometimes you hear about a city, and there's might be something very localized that happened with regard to attracting industry or so. But this is a whole area. This is basically southern New Hampshire.
Indeed.
That's big. It's great. It's great for our local market, and it's exciting. We evolved.
A good topic. I'm glad you decided to cover this today.
My pleasure.
Indeed.
Okay, that's it for now. So, thanks for tuning in. Please be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast platform, or subscribe to our YouTube channel.